Hello and welcome to the official review of the 2013-2014 Charlton Athletics season. In what was a mixed year for the club, we'll take a comprehensive look back at the highs and lows, which saw a change of ownership, a change of manager, a superb run to the last 8 of the FA Cup, as well as a roller coaster of a league campaign which saw the Addicts secure championship safety with a game to spare, thanks in no small part to the emergence of several products of the club's youth academy. Coming up, you'll see every goal home and away, as well as exclusive speeches from the end of season Player of the Year awards. So sit back and enjoy. The summer of 2013 saw 3 players join permanently. Mark Gower arrived from Swansea, having spent the end of the previous campaign on loan. He was joined by central defender Richard Wood and experienced striker Simon Church from Coventry and Reading respectively. Another forward, Marvin Sordell, arrived on a season-long loan from Bolton, whilst Cameron Stewart joined on loan from Hull until the new year. For the third time in 4 seasons, Bournemouth locked horns with Charlton on the opening day. But unlike the previous 2 meetings, it was the Cherries who prevailed on this occasion. The home side went in front midway through the first half. Lewis Grabban got onto the end of Harry Arter's cross to send Eddie Howe's men into the lead. That advantage was wiped out early in the second half though. Jan Kermegant, who would become a Bournemouth player later on in the season, restored parity with a stunning finish. But it was to be the newly promoted home side's day as the Cherries got off to a winning start. Lewis Grabban's powerful strike proved too much for Ben Hamer to make the final score 2-1. The match ended on a sour note for the Addicts as Bradley Pritchard was shown a straight red card following this challenge on Ryan Fraser. This was to be the first of 3 cup meetings between these clubs during the season. In the first of them, Charlton made light work of their League 2 opponents. Simon Church opened the scoring on his home debut. The lead was doubled early in the second half. Danny Green's free kick left Oxford with it all to do. Former Reading striker Church then grabbed his second of the game from Cedric Avina's assist to secure Charlton's place in the second round. There was still one more goal to come and it arrived in stoppage time. Jordan Cousins, making his first team debut, was upended by Jake Wright and Joe Piggott made it 4-0 from the spot to crown his first start for the senior side. Charlton then took on bogey side Middlesbrough for their opening league game at the Valley, and once again the Teessiders edged it. Without a win in the club's previous 6 meetings, Charlton failed to find a way past Jason Steele in the Borough goal and were made to pay with just a quarter of an hour remaining. Confusion in the home defence allowed Lukas Jutkovic to head past Ben Hamer and grab the game's only goal. Charlton needed to get off the mark, and they did, after a spirited second half fight back at Barnsley. Chris O'Grady put the Tigers ahead after just 16 minutes, and the Addicts looked up against it. And when the former Sheffield Wednesday striker made it 2-0 early in the second half, a third straight league defeat for the Addicts seemed unavoidable. But the spirit among the players, which served them so well on their return to the Championship, was again evident. 4 months on from the club's biggest ever away win, 6-0 in this stadium, half-time substitute Jordan Cousins marked his league debut with a goal that brought Charlton back into the game. And the comeback was complete with 18 minutes remaining. Simon Church's first league goal for the club made it 2-2, and the Addicts Championship campaign was up and running. The following Saturday saw Doncaster visit the Valley in one of the most talked about matches of the season in SE7. A torrential downpour in the hours leading up to the game had left much of the Valley turf underwater. But undeterred, referee Lee Collins gave the match the all clear. And within 2 minutes, Paul Keegan's header had given Rovers the lead. With the rain showing no sign of letting up and conditions rapidly becoming even more farcical, Chris Brown soon doubled the advantage for the visitors when he turned in Theo Robinson's cross. A bad afternoon for the Addicts then got even worse. Michael Morrison's clearance rebounded off Brown and past Ben Hamer to leave Paul Dickoff's men in dreamland, but those dreams would soon become nightmares. With 26 minutes gone and conditions clearly unfit for football, the referee took the players off with the rain still lashing down at the Valley and large puddles forming on the pitch. Amid almost pantomime scenes, Doncaster players helped the ground staff clear the pitch, and after a 30-minute break the referee gave the match the all clear to resume. And within minutes Simon Church had reduced the Addicts' deficit, and their cause was soon helped yet further. Goalscorer Paul Keegan blotted his copybook by picking up 2 quick bookings, and the visitors went into the break 3-1 up, but a man down. However, that was the end of the action, as the referee called a halt to proceedings during the interval, with the safety of the players the key issue. In drier conditions, the first of 3 trips to the John Smith Stadium in League and Cup was next, and Charlton started brightly. Dale Stevens' free kick gave the Addicts the lead. But the Terriers levelled shortly before the interval. Joel Lynch's shot beat Ben Hamer at his near post to bring the home side level. But it was Charlton who looked like they were on their way to round 3, when Marvin Sordell's first goal for the club restored their advantage on the hour mark. But those hopes were dashed as 2 quick Huddersfield goals saw them go through. Jonathan Hogg's strike took a wicked deflection to beat Hamer. The winning goal arrived when Adam Hamill netted with just 8 minutes remaining. His strike set up a third-round meeting with Hull for the Terriers and left Charlton licking their wounds. A win was needed, and Charlton got it against the Leicester side that would sweep to the title. Michael Morrison headed the Addicts in front after 27 minutes. Leicester's cause wasn't helped by the dismissal of Matty James for a second yellow card following his reaction to a challenge in the box. Charlton had beaten the Foxes twice the previous season, and they'd make it a hat-trick of 2-1 wins against Nigel Pearson's men. And following Morrison's goal, Jan Kermigan became the second former Leicester player to net against them in this match. The 10 men soon halved the deficit. Danny Drinkwater drilled home to make it a nervous end to the game, but in truth the scoreline should have been more comfortable for the home side, as Kasper Schmeichel put off a string of fine saves to keep Leicester in it, before Charlton got their first league win of the season. So Charlton up to 17th following that win and breathing a bit easier. At the top, Blackpool and QPR were setting the early pace as the season moved into September. The month started with a tough trip to Vicarage Road, scene of one of the best performances of 2012-2013, and once again Charlton picked up a creditable result in Hertfordshire. Richard Wood thought he'd open the scoring here, only to be denied by the offside flag. Still, Charlton went in front early in the second half. Laurie Wilson was taken out by Esayad Bell Callum, and Jan Kermigan made it look all so easy from the spot. Watford grabbed a point with 20 minutes remaining as Daniel Poodle fired home to score the goal, which secured the Hornets' 1,000th draw in league football as the match ended level. After the League Cup defeat at Huddersfield, the clubs locked horns again in West Yorkshire 3 weeks later. But the outcome was a similar one. James Vaughan heading the Terriers in front on the stroke of half-time. The second period was lit up by two spectacular goals. Unfortunately for the Addicts, the first of them came from the home side. Joel Lynch added to his goal from the cup tie, and in some style too. Charlton grabbed a foothold in the game, courtesy of another outstanding strike, this time from Cameron Stewart. But despite a late rally, they went down to another narrow defeat to Mark Robbins' men. Next up, a big South London derby against Millwall at the Valley in front of the Sky Sports cameras.
Richard has played that blind straight to McDonald. How costly will this one be? Morrison tries to bail him out. Advantage play by Bidaso. McDonald trying to take it, deflection and in. Well, it's Scott McDonald's goal, but the deflection gave Millwall a big helping hand. It's the 2,000 travelling fans who celebrate, and Millwall's week just looks like it's got a whole lot better.
Well, it does. It all comes from Charlton giving the ball away in midfield, and that was the kind of goal that was always going to open the deadlock here. A scrappy goal. It really was. It takes a big deflection off David and leaves Hamer absolutely no chance. Another strike from outside the area. I'm sure Ben Hamer would have dealt with that.
There's a chance, and it's over. Fell to Stevens, but he couldn't keep it down.
Well, that is actually the best chance of the entire game. Breaks for Dale Stevens, the edge of the box. First touch is good, and then from there, just doesn't quite lack the composure.
Sordell. Good passing for Crouch. Good support. His teammates are angry with him.
The finish really lacked conviction. Sordell as well gets turned. It's a good ball. He's onside Simon Church, but look. Harriet at the far post.
Derby disappointment for the Addicts, and things weren't about to get better against high-flying Burnley. Danny Ings converted Kieran Trippier's cross to put the Clarets ahead shortly before half-time. That advantage was doubled midway through the second half. Sam Vokes finished off a stylish Burnley move to all but seal the points for the home side. And victory for the hosts was secured late on. Vokes volleyed home from this corner to make it a long journey home for the Charlton faithful. Eight games gone, and after a winless September, Charlton were perilously close to the relegation zone, albeit with a rearranged Doncaster game in hand, and another tough month was just around the corner. October started with a difficult test against informed Nottingham Forest, and the Addicts couldn't have got off to a worse start. Former Charlton midfielder Andy Reid's free kick sailed in to give the visitors the lead after just 3 minutes. The home side recovered from that setback to create plenty of chances as shots rained in on the Forest goal, which certainly led a charmed life at times. The equaliser arrived shortly after half-time. Marvin Sordell's first Valley goal for Charlton was no more than a home side deserved, and in truth they could have picked up all 3 points. Jordan Cousins, who would score the winner when these sides met at the City Ground later in the season, came desperately close to putting Charlton in front here, but the Addicts' performance belied their league position. Her first goal has brought the Valley in over a year, followed against a Blackpool side that had started the season impressively. Chances were hard to come by for both teams in what was an uneventful encounter. Ultimately, both sides were to be left frustrated, but there were promising signs as Charlton kept the first championship clean sheet of the season. And that defensive solidity was once more evident at Ewood Park as a second league win of the season was secured. Simon Church's superb control and finish proved to be the only goal of this game. Despite the best efforts of Jordan Rhodes, Rovers couldn't find their way back into the match as the Addicts celebrated a priceless 3 points. Charlton made it 3 consecutive shutouts against FA Cup holders Wigan in front of a bumper attendance of over 23,000, thanks in no small part to the Addicts' annual Football for a Fiver initiative. Richard Wood's header was as close as the home side came in the first half. Dale Stephens also went close, but it was Wigan who grew stronger the longer the match went on. Chris McCann almost won it for Owen Coyle's men, but the frame of the goal saved the Addicts and both sides were forced to settle for a point. 12 games gone and Charlton had their heads above water with their game in hand against Doncaster coming up in November. But the penultimate month of 2013 started with a trip to St Andrews. And Charlton would make it back-to-back away wins thanks to victory against Lee Clark's men. After Cameron Stewart was denied, Dale Stephens was on hand to score the game's only goal. Just like the earlier postponed match against Doncaster, this fixture was preceded by a deluge of rain which left the Valley pitch barely playable. Indeed, kick-off was delayed by half an hour as Charlton aimed to extend the sequence without conceding, which now stood at more than 7 hours. But that would come to an abrupt end in this game. Ross McCormack struck the first of his 4 goals scored in this match after only 17 minutes. But Charlton fought back. Simon Church was seemingly brought down, but no penalty was given. And the Charlton forwards' ill luck didn't end there. This shot beat Paddy Kenny all ends up, but Leeds was saved by the post. Charlton deserved an equaliser, and it arrived just before the interval, and in spectacular fashion. Cameron Stewart's stunning strike was a goal of the season contender and sent the Addicts into the break in fine spirits. But that momentum was punctured at the start of the second half. Callum Harriott was adjudged to have fouled Danny Pugh, and up stepped that man McCormack to restore the away side's lead. Again though, Charlton wouldn't lie down, and with 20 minutes remaining, the match was level once more. Some good work from Church enabled Johnny Jackson to haul the home side level as he scored against Leeds at the Valley for the second season running. But McCormack wasn't finished. Within 3 minutes he put Leeds in front for the third time in this end-to-end clash to complete his hat-trick, and on this occasion there would be no comeback. The Scottish striker then grabbed an astonishing 4th goal of the afternoon to cap a wonderful display with this free kick as Leeds recorded an impressive victory. A trip to pre-season title favourites QPR was next on the agenda, and despite an improved defensive display, it was Charlie Austin who grabbed the only goal, and in some style. It was the former Burnley striker's 6th career goal against the Addicts. Charlton struggled to create many chances and nearly conceded again at the death, only for the crossbar to deny substitute Sean Wright-Phillips, as QPR had to settle for a 1-0 victory. The rearranged clash with Doncaster was next up. Ben Alnwick found himself making his Charlton debut following an injury to Ben Hamer in the warm-up. In the event, Alnwick had little to do once Dale Stephens had opened the scoring with one of the goals of the season shortly before half-time. And the win was secured thanks to Simon Church's cool finish. And unlike his goal in the original fixture, this one counted. The win was almost even more emphatic. Cameron Stewart's strike came desperately close to making it 3-0 as Charlton picked up a much-needed win. The visit of Ipswich Town then followed, and Charlton were up against it from the moment Tommy Smith headed the Tractor Boys into a 5th-minute lead. The Addicts' best opportunity fell to Royce Wiggins, but his shot was palmed onto the post by Dean Gherkin, and despite the home side dominating for long spells, it was Mick McCarthy's men who went on to pick up the 3 points. At the end of November, the win from that rearranged Doncaster game had given the Addicts some breathing space above the bottom three. But with just 2 points separating 7 clubs, it was very tight in the bottom half. December kicked off with a trip to the Madejski, where Charlton's luck was most definitely out. Amazingly, this challenge on former Royal Simon Church by Stephen Kelly was not penalised by referee Darren Sheldrake, and within a few minutes the home side were ahead. Billy Sharp fired past Ben Anick on his full debut for Reading, scoring what proved to be the game's only goal. Charlton dominated the second half. The closest they came to an equaliser was when Marvin Sordell fired home, only for this effort to be ruled out for offside. With these clubs separated by just 2 points either side of the relegation zone, this was a chance for the Addicts to build some breathing space above the bottom three. Cameron Stewart's glorious individual effort gave the visitors the lead. Stewart then turned provider, setting up skipper Johnny Jackson to send Charlton in at the break in complete control. With 18 minutes remaining, Joel Grant's cross took a wicked deflection off Michael Morrison to halve the Glovers' deficit, and suddenly the visitors had a fight on their hands. Almost immediately it was 2-2. Grant was tripped by Andy Hughes. Yeovil had a penalty. And Ishmael Miller kept his cool to draw the home side level. A nightmare few minutes for Charlton culminated in Johnny Jackson's first red card of his career, but the Addicts held on to pick up a point.
We started off in terrific fashion, 2 terrific goals. And you're looking for the players to carry that on, but there was a turning point. In the second half we could have gone 3-0 up, and then a deflected goal. There's not much you can do about that. And then their tails are up, and obviously they've been confident recently, and they get a penalty. I've got no complaints, and then we go down to 10 men, and the game ultimately swung in Yeovil's favour. So I've got to applaud my players in the end for holding out and making sure that we took something from the game.
Next up were a Derby side on a run of 5 straight wins, and they proved too strong for Charlton. Jamie Ward's deflected free kick put the Rams ahead. Ward almost doubled his and the Rams' tally in the second half, but it would prove to be only a temporary reprieve for Chris Powell's men. With just 3 minutes remaining, Connor Salmon set up Craig Bryson, who made no mistake and secured a 6th straight win for the informed visitors. 2-0 the final score. Charlton made the ideal start at the Reebok Stadium. Jan Kermorgant sweeping home Royce Wiggins' cross to put the visitors ahead after just 11 minutes. That advantage was wiped out though moments before the break. Kevin McNaughton's stylish effort would ultimately earn their home side a point, though Jan Kermorgant came desperately close to forcing a winner for the Addicts. Andrew Lonergan's superb save preserved a point for the home side. Boxing Day saw Brighton head to the Valley in one of the most entertaining games of the season, and it was the visitors who started the better. Leonardo Ajoa opened the scoring midway through the first half. But that advantage would soon be wiped out. Laurie Wilson, who'd opened the scoring in this fixture 12 months earlier, restored parity in the game. But he wasn't finished there, as just past the hour Wilson made it 2-1, seizing on some more hesitant Brighton defending to fire emphatically past Peter Brezovan. With a quarter of an hour remaining, the win was secured. Kermorgant curled home a delightful free kick as the Addicts closed in on a first home win over the Seagulls in over 20 years. To their credit, the visitors didn't go down without a fight. Quite how the home side survived here is anybody's guess, after both Ashley Barnes and Inigo Calderon struck the frame of the goal. But the Seagulls made it an anxious few moments for Addicks fans by making it 3-2 in stoppage time. Despite looking in an offside position, Ajoa's second of the game was allowed to stand. Charlton, though, held on to pick up the much-needed win. 2013 ended with a visit of a Sheffield Wednesday side who had started picking up points under Stuart Gray. And the Addicks went ahead when Dale Stevens made it 1-0 moments after half-time. But the Owls earned a point when on-loan striker Connor Wickham prodded the ball home. Despite looking offside, referee Fred Graham allowed the goal to stand. The Addicks had the chance to grab a dramatic late winner, but Simon Church blazed over, so it finished 1-1. Halfway through the season and Charlton were 4 points clear of the bottom three, and things were about to get busy both on and off the pitch as we moved into the new year. "2014 started with a trip to Portman Road to face in-form Ipswich. The home side thought they should have had a penalty early on after Richard Wood's challenge on Daryl Murphy, but referee Stuart Atwell was having none of it. And the Ipswich man didn't have long to wait for things to go his way. His cross was turned into his own net by the unfortunate Wood. With a quarter of an hour remaining, the match looked up for Charlton as the referee did point to the spot following this challenge by Jordan Cousins on Paul Anderson. But Ben Alnwick produced a magnificent stop to deny Dave McGoldrick from the spot, and the Addicks made the Tractor Boys pay for their wastefulness. With the game in added time, Johnny Jackson, on as a substitute, scored with a deflected shot to rescue a precious point. A great fighting performance on the field in Suffolk, and things were changing off it too. Friday, January the 5th saw Belgian entrepreneur Roland Duchâtelet complete his takeover of the club, and here he outlines his vision for Charlton.
We knew that it was very important to have a significant number of good players adding to add to the team, and that's what we prepared for and what we tried to do immediately. And of course, at that point in time, Chris didn't have the opportunity to spend a few weeks with his scouts to review each of them and assess each of them, and we had to have a little bit of confidence that it was not the wrong choice. But of course, has the option to play them or not to play them. But of course, it was a very special situation at that point in time. But it was quite clear that we needed to bring new players, which increase the quality of the team.
6 players joined the club in January. Reza Gujanajad arrived for an undisclosed fee from Standard Liège. He was joined by midfielder Astrid Ajdarovic and goalkeeper Johan Turam Ulien on loan from the same club. Defender Loic Nego signed for an undisclosed fee from Ujpest, while young striker Piotr Parchashek arrived from the Graafschap. The first game of the Duchâtelet era was the FA Cup third-round tie with Oxford after bad weather had originally forced the match to be postponed. John Mullins' deflected shot got the League Two side off to a flyer. And when Scott Davis fired home midway through the first half, a cup run to the last 8 seemed a million miles away for the Addicks. But Charlton fought back strongly in the second half. Michael Morrison halved the deficit on 54 minutes. And a replay was secured thanks to Jan Kermigan's stunning strike with just 6 minutes to go. With Ben Hamer and Ben Alnwick both unavailable through injury, Johan Turam Ulien made his Charlton debut at Middlesbrough, but he was beaten by Emmanuel Ledesma's strike after 16 minutes at the Riverside Stadium. Charlton thought they'd equalised through Simon Church, however this goal was ruled out for a foul on keeper Shay Given. The match ended on a sour note for the visitors as Royce Wiggins saw red for this foul on Dean Whitehead, which ruled him out for the next 3 matches. There were no mistakes at Oxford as Charlton eased into the fourth round in a game which saw academy starlet Diego Poyet make his bow for the first team. Jan Kermigan's strike opened the scoring after 35 minutes. And almost immediately it was 2-0. Danny Green, who'd helped turn the game around at the Valley a week earlier, doubled the lead, meaning the second half was a case of damage limitation for Chris Wilder's men. They were breached one more time as Kermigan curled home a delightful free kick for what would turn out to be the Frenchman's final goal in a Charlton shirt. With that tie being postponed and then going to a replay, it meant Charlton had just 3 days to prepare for a third visit of the season to Huddersfield. And after tasting defeat in League and Cup at the John Smith Stadium earlier in the season, this time it would be third time lucky as Simon Church scored the winner early in the second half. Victory set up another trip to Yorkshire in round 5 at Sheffield Wednesday. January ended with defeat at the Keepmoat Stadium, by which time Charlton had slipped into the relegation zone. Abdoulaye Maite opened the scoring after 26 minutes after a mix-up at the back. Then, Laurie Wilson's foul on Billy Sharp resulted in a penalty for Doncaster and a red card for the Charlton right-back. Chris Brown doubled the lead for Paul Dickoff's men from the spot. The Addicks' misery was complete when Mark Duffy added a third on the hour. It left Charlton winless in 2014 in the league and in deep trouble. So at the end of January, Charlton were 2 points from safety, albeit with a game in hand. But there was worse news to come on transfer deadline day, as first team regulars Jan Kermigan and Dale Stevens signed for Championship rivals Bournemouth and Brighton respectively, while Ben Anick joined Leyton Orient. A tough trip to promotion-chasing Wigan was next up for the Addicks, and they made a superb start. Marvin Soldell raced clear to fire the visitors ahead after just 3 minutes. And it was so nearly 2-0 as Reza's fine strike beat Ali Al-Habsi, but not the crossbar. Charlton put in one of the most resolute performances of the season and held on to their lead until the 88th minute when Marc-Antoine Fortuné made it 1-1. Wigan then won the match in added time as Jordi Gomez curled home this free kick to leave the Addicks devastated. Birmingham were the next visitors to the Valley, and they'd inflict a fourth straight league defeat on Charlton. Federico Makeda headed the Blues into a first half lead. Charlton had the chances though. Astrid Ajdarovic's overhead kick was as close as the Addicks came to forcing an equaliser before the visitors sealed the points late on. Tom Adeyemi's powerful run enabled Makeda to double Birmingham's lead, and the Addicks were condemned to another defeat. 18 games to go and things were starting to look bleak. Although Charlton did still have games in hand, they couldn't have asked for a tougher test than a home fixture with big spending QPR, but it turned out to be one of the high points of the season.
League and Cup, before being beaten here a fortnight ago by Birmingham. A game that Chris Powell felt his team should have got something from. It's been that kind of season. Wiggins, not a bad ball, this is Green. Sits nicely for Cousins, sits the post, good challenge out of the post! My word, how unlucky can you get? And that sums up Charlton's lot right now. The woodwork is clattered twice. A real let-off for QPR. This is Cousins. Good Chad in pursuit. Dunn's there first. Well, the game needed something to bring it to life, and it certainly did here. How close with Charlton. It's a great hit from Cousins, and Guchanachad manages to hit the other post. Remarkable. Charlton should be wanting to have his first Charlton goal. Initially a great strike from Jordan Cousins. Green clutching at thin air, and Guchanachad manages to hit the post rather than find the back of the net. 15 minutes left, still 0-0 at the Valley. He's going back to Thuram, he's giving it straight to Maiga. It's going to be a goal for QPR, he's run the ball out. My word. It's a great opportunity, and it was almost a gift. I thought that had goal written all over it. What a mistake from Johan Thuram, the Charlton goalkeeper. Credit Maiga for closing the keeper down, but as soon as he goes round him, you think he's going to score, and then manages to run the ball out. And in a game that's been starved of chances, that is a very, very good one, and a real let-off for Charlton Athletic. Trick or two. As Welling comes, and Dunn is underneath it, still could go anywhere, and Dunn will flick it clear, but it's sent back in by Cousins. Now Adarovic. It's a good ball to Poyet. This is Harriott. Maybe Charlton will nick it. Pulled in towards Jackson. Blocked by Dunn. Tudgay in there. Still Tudgay tries the overhead. No way through. Good challenge from Poyet. Adarovic looking to bend one. Great save, Green. That's a really good try from Astrid Adarovic. That was curling top corner. Excellent hit. Matched by an equally terrific save from Rob Green. Adarovic with the corner. Jackson coming in blindside. It's in! Johnny Jackson has won it for Charlton. Unbridled joy. He can't contain himself. Incredible late drama at the Valley. Charlton have stolen it, and how big could this be for their survival prospects? A deep corner, nobody spotted the captain Johnny Jackson, who comes up big time. Charlton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought it? Adarovic with the corner. Jackson gets up high and plants the header firmly past Rob Green. Down and up into the QPR net. And a big fist pump from his manager, Chris Powell.
Johnny, you've scored some big goals in your time for this club. Where does that one rank?
Right up there. I mean, we needed a win desperately today. We spoke about it all week. Everything's been geared towards this game, working on Queen's Park Rangers, and just getting that first win. We've got a lot of new boys through the door, and they haven't won a game yet, and we've said it, get that win and galvanise our season, and left it very late, but could be a big goal.
It's a huge one for you, isn't it? And you could feel the relief around the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd were brilliant all day. I think they could see that we was on our game today, and every one of the lads has put everything they've got in. It was a question of don't worry about, and we go again Monday night, but don't worry about that. Give it everything you got today, then we'll worry about Monday. And I think we've done that, and the crowd came with us.
I thought they were immense today, the players. The performance against a real good side. We're playing against Harry and his team, and they're a very, very good side. But I thought we more than matched them today. And it was obviously the pitch is a bit of a leveller, but we played some stuff. So did they. But the timing of the goal was everything. But I think the players deserved it for their efforts. I thought they were immense. All of them, the back four, young midfield players that I've got in there. Just making sort of inroads into their careers, and to get the goal at the end. It was quite an emotional day for me and my players, but for everyone connected with the club.
Charlton had 48 hours to prepare for their FA Cup fifth round tie at Hillsborough, which had previously been postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. But with the whole country talking about a potential Sheffield derby in the quarter-finals, the Addicts rose to the occasion, and in some style.
Wilson. One of Poirier, play rages on. Cousins, Ajdarevic looking to place it. Harriet gives it a lash, and Charlton have the lead at Hillsborough. Callum Harriet. Joy for the little knot of fans who have travelled from the capital. Sheffield Wednesday come unstuck. And could it be Chris Powell's side are going to scupper the prospect of a Steel City derby in the quarter-final? Sheffield Wednesday have had one or two problems at the back. Cousins with the initial feed, Ajdarevic not quite what he had hoped for. But Callum Harriet, that shot swerving away. 1-0 Charlton. Chris Maguire pondering this free kick for Sheffield Wednesday. Can somebody get boot on ball? There's the answer. The equaliser, Leon Best. The man on loan from Blackburn has delivered the goods. The Wednesday fans wondered, would it come? Would it happen? Now it has. Hamer beaten. And Leon Best managing to break the shackles of the Charlton defence finally. He's a natural finisher. Finishing with aplomb here. And it's even Steven. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Charlton 1. Johnny Jackson to take the free kick for Charlton. Morrison's made his way forward. Church with the late run. Simon Church! Timing is everything. And Simon Church stealing in as Charlton regain the lead at Hillsborough. Brilliantly executed. Martinez perhaps a little bit slow in reacting. Johnny Jackson spot on with the delivery, and Church managing to get there before any Sheffield Wednesday player could. Charlton just won't go away. 2-1 to the visitors. Maguire with the outswinger. What a header it was! Super stuff. Nuhiu, the substitute, but it's not going to count. Well, Nuhiu wheeled away initially, as if to celebrate. Certainly the fans were on their feet. But what did the officials spot? Nuhiu with a header, well placed. Well, it didn't actually go over the line. That was the problem. Looked to begin with as though that was in, but it didn't cross the line.
Substitution for Wales, number 28,
Hamer falling on the ball. And the officials all working as a team. Nuhiu just having a word. He obviously thought it was over. Harriet just trying to get into position to control the ball. Maguire attacking from the left-hand side. Chris Maguire, oh, deflection! And somehow Hamer was able to react. Oh, Maguire taking aim. There was the touch by Morrison, and there was the save by Hamer. Charlton inching ever closer to the quarter-finals. Punched away by Hamer. Back it comes to Maguire. Hamer wasn't sure. Decided to go into reverse. Handed on by Yera. Martinez. No Charlton players forward to be expected at this juncture. Whistle comes to the aid of Charlton. Ben Hamer just knew it. He would be called upon. The deflection made it very difficult for Hamer. Maguire kept going and going. How about that for inspirational goalkeeping? Louvens. Full time. There will be no Sheffield derby in the 6th round of the FA Cup. Charlton have made sure of that. Callum Harriott gave them the lead. Sheffield Wednesday did battle back through Leon Best. But it was Simon Church who had the bells ringing in southeast London.
Chris Powell's post-match celebrations lived long in a memory as Charlton made it through to the last 8 of the FA Cup and leave the blue half of the Steel City devastated. In the league, meanwhile, Charlton was still in the bottom 3, but just a point from safety, and thanks to the cup run, they have plenty of games still in hand. But with 17 league matches to cram into the final couple of months of the season, not to mention that cup quarter-final, the fitness of the squad would be tested to the limit. A busy March started with a trip to champions-elect Leicester, and the Foxes put the Addicts to the sword with a dominant display. Jamie Vardy put the home side into an early lead. Charlton had won the club's last 3 meetings 2-1, but there was to be no repeat in this game. David Nugent was denied by Ben Hamer, but Danny Drinkwater was on hand to double the lead. The win was sealed when Nugent fired in a third midway through the second half as the league leaders cruised to victory. Next up for Charlton was that FA Cup quarter-final. Over 5,000 Addicts made their way up to Sheffield United for the midday kickoff, despite there being no trains that morning and the game being televised live. With the winner guaranteed a place at Wembley in the semis, the atmosphere inside Bramall Lane was electric.
Jackson to take it, he's picked up Tudgay, who got in behind for a moment, curls it back across the face of goal, and Harriott! Oh, what a chance that was for Charlton! The opportunity of the game, and Harriott puts it wide.
What an opportunity, just a quick free kick from Jackson. Great little flick from Tudgay, gets it across, and Harriott is just arrives perfectly in the box. All he needs to do is get a cleaner contact and just hits it with the inside of his foot and goes across goal.
There's quite a link going on between Standard Liège and Charlton, but that, as they say, is another story for now. Baxter, well, it's gone a long way, and Sheffield United do get the lead. Ryan Flynn arriving on the back post. The Charlton defence caught napping, and the Blades are ahead again in the FA Cup.
Well, again, I think the source of inspiration we thought was going to be for Sheffield United has been Baxter dropping off deep into that position, and an absolute stunning ball into the box. It's just a good piece of play, and Baxter gets it out of his feet, and that's as good a cross as you'll ever see. Perfect timed run, and Flynn being the right winger, just in the perfect place at the right time, and that is a very difficult finish. Just skips it over top of the goalkeeper, and 1-0.
Look at the celebrations. Murphy, very positive from him. Lays it across the break, but just behind him, he tries the shot, deflects, and in! 2-0, Sheffield United, it's John Brayford. Cue hysteria at Bramall Lane.
Well, again, I think Sheffield United's two best players today have been Murphy and Baxter, and Baxter's so influential in the first goal. Murphy with his strong running the whole game. Just runs at the Charlton defence. He's come inside, it's been a feature of his game all day today. That's the right back, getting him out his feet. And gets very lucky, takes a deflection. Impossible for the goalkeeper, but Sheffield United deserve that. They've been the more positive team, and they took in chances when they needed to.
That defeat would prove one too many for Chris Powell, as the following morning his 3-year spell as manager came to an end. His replacement was Jose Riga, and his first game would come within 24 hours at home to Huddersfield Town. Given the build-up to this game, Charlton put in an excellent performance, creating more than enough chances to have won it. After Astrid Ajdanovic had gone close, Reza threatened a first goal for the Addicts. But try as they might, the home side couldn't force a winner as the match ended goalless. Another stalemate followed 4 days later at the New Den, with the sides separated by just 3 points either side of the relegation zone, and with the Addicts having 4 games in hand, a tense encounter wasn't unexpected. Charlton's best chance fell to Callum Harriott, but after he stabbed his shot wide, both sides were forced to settle for a goalless draw. Jose Riga's first win came just 3 days later, and like against QPR, it arrived in stoppage time. After beginning slowly, the home side gradually started to dominate. With the 90 minutes almost up, Johnny Jackson saw his free kick tipped over by Lee Camp. But from the resulting corner, Dorian De Veit headed home the winner as players and fans alike celebrated the win, which took Charlton outside of the drop zone for the first time in almost 2 months. Nobody knew it at the time, but Charlton would stay clear of the bottom 3 for the rest of the season. Promotion chasing Burnley were next up at the Valley, and just as they were up at Turf Moor in September, they proved to be too strong for Charlton. Ashley Barnes' first goal for the Clarets gave the visitors a half-time lead. Ten minutes into the second half, Sam Vokes was upended by De Veit, and the visitors had a penalty. The Burnley striker dusted himself down and made it 2-0 from the spot. Burnley's win was made even more emphatic in stoppage time. Michael Kitely's cross took a wicked deflection to leave Ben Hamer stranded and seal victory. Following the departure of Billy Davis, Gary Brazil took temporary charge of Nottingham Forest for Charlton's visit. Marvin Sordell almost got the visitors off to an ideal start, only to be denied by the frame of the goal. And the Addicts would go on to pick up a priceless 3 points. Jonathan Abika, who had recently rejoined on loan, struck the post, and Jordan Cousins was on hand to claim his second goal of the season. Forest East Midlands rivals Derby proved a much tougher prospect though, and they raced into a 2-goal half-time lead over the Addicts. Johnny Russell opened the scoring after just 18 minutes. The second goal arrived shortly before the interval. Johnny Jackson's mistake enabled Patrick Bamford to claim his 24th goal of the season. Charlton did their best to find a way back into the game, but found Lee Grant in imperious form, and they soon conceded a third. Chris Martin headed home in the 84th minute to make it a disappointing day for the Addicts. With 10 games to go, Charlton were out of the relegation zone, albeit only on goal difference. With crucial home games coming up against the likes of struggling Yeovil and Barnsley, it was shaping up to be a tense finish. And April couldn't have started any better, as Charlton gained a precious win at Ellen Road against the lead side, troubled by problems at boardroom level. Reza's first goal for the club couldn't have come at a better time, and was quite a way to open his account for the Addicts. Charlton then withstood everything the home side could throw at them. That was until stoppage time, when Diego Poyet was harshly penalised for a shove on A.D. White. It was devastating for the academy protégé, who was one of the shining lights of a tough season. However, Ross McCormack, scorer of 4 goals at the Valley back in November, was denied by Ben Hamer's superb save. Charlton had picked up another crucial win from one of their games in hand. Reading were the next visitors to the Valley and desperate to boost their hopes of a playoff place. Former Royal Ben Hamer kept out Danny Guthrie here. But Nigel Atkins' men gained a second 1-0 victory over the Addicts to complete a league double. Danny Williams struck with 17 minutes left to get the game's only goal. But Charlton took a giant step towards championship safety 3 days later by seeing off fellow strugglers Yeovil. Astrid Ajdanovic's first goal for the club gave Jose Riga's men the ideal start. But the visitors made it 1-1 within a couple of minutes. Joel Grant's deflected effort brought the away side level, but it would prove to be a false dawn for the Glovers, as 2 goals in a 3-minute spell at the start of the second half won the game for the hosts. First, Dorian DeVete headed home to restore Charlton's lead and ease the tension around the Valley. And then Marvin Sordell earned the home side some breathing space after Chris Dunn failed to hold a cross. With quarter of an hour remaining, Gary Johnson's men made it a nervous finish. Kiefer Moore made it 3-2, but despite a couple of late scares, Charlton held on to record a hugely important victory. Brighton gained revenge for their Boxing Day defeat at the Valley by seeing off Charlton. Jesse Lingard's first goal at the Amex got the home side off to an ideal start before the match was effectively decided on a crucial 60 seconds at both ends of the pitch. Charlton couldn't have come any closer to an equaliser as Reza's deflected shot rebounded off the bar. Brighton went up to the other end to double their lead and all but end the visitors' chances in this one. Leonardo Ajoa's 15th goal of the season gave the Seagulls a comfortable advantage. Jake Forster-Caskey added some gloss to the scoreline in stoppage time as Charlton slipped to defeat. 3-0 the final score. Charlton then lost again to fellow strugglers Barnsley to leave their survival prospects very much up in the air. As the Tykes would go ahead with their first effort on goal, Jean-Yves Mvoto headed the visitors into a half-time lead. And that advantage was doubled in desperately unlucky circumstances for the Addicts. Tom Kennedy's cross took a huge deflection to beat Ben Hamer and leave the home side with it all to do. Astrid Ajdanovic grabbed a late consolation, but a bad night for Charlton was compounded with the news that Royce Wiggins had fractured a metatarsal and would be out for the remaining 5 games. A profitable Easter, which saw the Addicts pick up 4 points, eased the relegation worries a little. Diego Poyet's outstanding goal line clearance from Matt Mills' header kept Charlton on level terms. And the home side might even have had the chance to win it from the penalty spot. Adam Bogdan looked to have fouled Simon Church, but referee Brendan Malone was having none of it and the game finished level.
The last game can affect a lot psychologically, mentally and physically the team. And the way they answer today make me happy. Even we are always looking for winning, of course, because in our situation 3 points is only the best thing that we can have. But anyway, at this point and the way we keep it is a good sign for the future games.
And so to Hillsborough, scene of that famous cup win some 8 weeks earlier, and now the venue for one of the performances of the season, as Charlton withstood an early barrage to come from 2 down and win. Arta Nahuyu put the Owls ahead after just 2 minutes. And when Nahuyo turned provider to set up Chris Maguire, the Owls were 2 up inside the first 8 minutes, and the visitors looked all at sea. Charlton desperately needed something special. Step forward, Marvin Sordell. The on-loan striker halved the deficit immediately. And with half-time approaching, the Owls' advantage had been wiped out. Callum Harriott played in Sordell, who once more made no mistake. A dramatic comeback was complete as Sordell outpaced the home defence and stylishly finished his hat-trick to move the Addicts tantalisingly close to safety.
We have seen two phases of Charlton. That we were still in the dressing room during 20 minutes. We conceded 2 goals, and then after we came back in the game, we can score. The most important is to be able to score before, of course, the halftime. Then after, everything became more, not easy, but we can master more the game, the opponent. We score a third time. And again, we were looking for a long time about this first win, very important before the other game, because we have done it with very young players too, coming from Charlton. Most of them on the pitch: Morgan Fox, Jordan Cousin, Diego, Callum, and it makes me also happy because it's a sign that Charlton is working well with its young players.
Blackburn hadn't given up on securing the final playoff berth, and after a slow start, they dominated at the Valley. Rudy Gestede, fresh from a hat-trick at Birmingham on Easter Monday, carried on where he'd left off at St Andrews. Marvin Sordell had the chance to follow suit following his treble at Hillsborough after winning a penalty following this foul by Grant Hanley. So the forward was denied by Paul Robinson from the spot, and Charlton were punished for failing to take their opportunity. Michael Keane headed home early in the second half to leave the Addicts with it all to do. But Sordell atoned for his earlier penalty miss by halving the deficit thanks to this stunning strike, and all of a sudden it was game on once more. But any hopes Charlton had of salvaging something from this game disappeared when Tom Kearney fired Rovers' third after some desperate defending on the goal line. However, Charlton knew a win over Watford from their final game in hand would secure safety and mean the final day's showdown at fellow strugglers Blackpool would be a far more relaxed affair. Callum Harriott's stunning solo effort gave the Addicts the lead. But Watford were in no mood to lay down and die after being denied by this heroic save from Ben Hamer. Troy Deeney's superb strike drew the Hornets level, and Charlton had plenty to do if their safety was to be assured ahead of the final game. Cometh the hour though, cometh the man. Johnny Jackson chose the perfect moment to ghost into the box and fire past Jonathan Bond, thanks in no small part to a superb assist from Morgan Fox, yet another academy product who'd risen to the occasion. The win, and with it Charlton's survival, was soon confirmed. Harriott's outstanding volley made it 3-1. The pressure was finally off. Watford's night ended on a sour note with the dismissal of former Liverpool defender Albert Riera following this challenge on Diego Poyet. It was his second booking of the night. Come the final whistle, there were scenes of celebration and relief in equal measure as Charlton celebrated championship survival. It had been a long and intense season, but the happiness felt by the players and fans alike was clear. Charlton concluded the season by recording back-to-back league victories for the first time all term, as Callum Harriot's first career hat-trick blew Blackpool away. Harriot had received his critics during an up-and-down season, but he signed off in style, illustrating to one and all the full repertoire of his talents in front of nearly 1,500 travelling supporters. Harriot became the second hat-trick hero in successive away games at the end of the season, and the academy product was hugely deserving of the match ball. He finished the campaign with 5 goals in the final 2 games.
It's our last game, and that's what I asked to my player, is to end the season with a good feeling. And I repeat, there are no friendly games. I mean, you're professional, you do your job, and I want to see them without a lot of pressure as the last game. So even it was quite more difficult in the first half, the second one, I think we controlled the game, and the opponent, we scored 3 goals, so it was perfect for me.
So, after a long season, Charlton ended up surviving comfortably, finishing some 7 points above the relegation zone, and the role some of the academy products played in an ultimately successful season warmed the hearts of Addicks fans everywhere. The day after the Blackpool game saw the Player of the Year awards held in a North Stand function suite. Jordan Cousins was named Young Player of the Year following a real breakthrough season.
Yeah, it's been a long, hard season. We have many games, many situations, the gaffer left and that. So, but we've had to get on with it and we've had to perform, and that's what we've done at the end here.
And in the end, it was quite comfortable. 7 points clear relegation. Don't know why we were worried.
I wouldn't call it comfortable mentally, but we've got on with it. We've got the points at the end.
And Andy,
what are we talking about here?
Young Player of the Year, Jordan Cousins. Okay. Deserving of the award?
Yeah, he's been decent. He can get better. He can get better. He can score more goals. But he deserves it.
Is that Cubic Sakona?
He's been absolutely outstanding. He's been outstanding. He deserves it. Well done, mate.
Thank
outstanding.
You, Thank you very much.
Local boy as well. Local boy done well. Looks after his family, teammates, listens to the staff. But you got to remember what the staff have done bringing him through. So
yeah, 100%.
Outstanding, mate. Outstanding.
Laurie Wilson was named Player of the Year, a fitting reward for an excellent campaign.
Yeah, obviously it's been unfortunate that Chris has got injured, and I've come in and done the work throughout the year. It showed at the end of the year that we can both work together and work really well together. So everyone that's obviously saying it's me or him, it showed the Watford game that we can actually work together. So it's been a nice season that I've been able to play and play as many games as I have. And we've stayed up and we've had a good record, defensive record, which is most important. As a defender, you want a good defensive record, so it's been good.
The big prize, Player of the Year, was won by the narrowest of margins by Diego Poyet. Despite only coming into the side in January, the impact the midfielder had made was there for us all to see.
It's amazing. I mean, the boys, everyone, I really didn't expect it. It came to a surprise, and to think I've only played 20-odd games and to receive this award, I mean, a massive thank you to everyone who's helped me and to the fans for voting.
I mean, they mentioned it at the award, 4,500 fans voted, and it was a lot closer than most years, but I guess that shows the impact you've had on the side this year.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I didn't expect to even be involved. When I made my debut, I wasn't expecting it a couple of weeks before, but I had my chance, and I mean, everyone around me has helped me, all the staff, the players, the fans have pushed me on, and I think everything together has helped me do what I was able to do in the end and win it.
You talk about not expecting it this year. I mean, if you remember your debut at Oxford in the FA Cup, we brought you out after that game to talk to the media, and they're all asking you about, are you going to play for England, are you going to play for Spain, are you going to play for Uruguay? They're sort of just thinking to the future, and now, less than 4 months later, you're actually possibly looking at, in under 21 maybe or something like that. It's been it must be a really whirlwind 4 months for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, best 4 months of my life, I've got to say. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, the best 4 months of my life. It came from making a substitute appearance in the FA Cup to playing most games from then towards the end of the season. And like I said, it's unbelievable. It's a great club to be at. And if you're a youngster, I mean, it's a great place to be. I mean, we've had a lot of youth players come through, and some of them starting week in, week out. So it shows that it's a good bond as well between the players, and they let you in and they let you feel part of the group straight away as soon as you start training with them.
I guess some young players, if you come to the side in February, it's because you're safe in the league and it's nothing much to play for. Yourself, you came in almost bottom of the league, and it's quite a brutal introduction to senior football in a way, but you must have learned so much from these past few months.
I've learned a lot. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed having that bit of added pressure every game. I'd rather that than maybe being mid-table with nothing to play for. I mean, every game was massive for us, and I think it was incredible from all the boys that we achieved it. Jose coming in, Chris Powell before as well, everyone together. I mean, it's a great achievement, and we should push on and try even better for next season.
And we mentioned to the other lads, but you're one of 5 players this year who have made their debuts, who learnt their trade in the Charlton Academy, with Harry, Morgan, Joe and who else? Jordan, Jordan and Morgan. So 5 young players. It's quite a year for the young players at the club.
Like I said, it's the place to be. If you might young players everywhere, every club, they're frustrated. They think, I should be in, I should be out. You've got to wait, be ready. When your time comes, make sure you're ready, make sure you're fit, and take your chance. And at this club, it certainly happens. Like we showed, you said today, 5 players this season. And they've all done incredibly well.
Yeah, I mean, you've won the top award tonight, but every one of those 5 has made their contribution in their own way, haven't they, this season? Yeah,
no, every single one. Even the ones that have been travelling, everyone's been unbelievable. The squad's together. It's been together since even when Chris Powell left. Everyone was a bit down, and Jacko, the skip, he got us all together. And he said, "Look, we're doing it for us. We're doing it for Chris. We're doing it for Jose. We're doing it for whoever. But we're doing it for us and for the fans." And we're able to do it in the end and keep the club up.
So that's it for another season at the Valley. There have been highs, there have been lows, but at the end of it, the Addicts have maintained their place in the Championship and done the job in some style too. We'll see you back at the Valley in August. Until then, goodbye.